Welcome to the Becoming You show with me, your host, Leah Rowling. Do you believe you are capable of choosing your future? Sometimes it takes just one person to believe in you, or you to believe in yourself. If you find yourself continuing to say, someday I will take better care of myself, only to continue living the same day over and over and over again, then you, my friend, are in the right place. I am your biggest cheerleader, inspiring you to become you on purpose and with intention. Are you ready to create a life you love? I'm excited to share with you some big ideas that you can use today to inspire, impact, and influence your life and everyone in it. The Becoming You show starts now. Hello, my friends. How are you? How was your week? Are you finishing strong? Did you take some time this week to deepen your connections? Did you manage your attitude and protect your energy? Did you learn something new? Did you make a new decision? Were you present enough to observe the ordinary? This is all stuff of personal development, right? It's the stuff that allows us to have a little more life in our life. I had an awesome week. I am loving my groups that I am coaching. I am loving my new routines and my habits. And I'm super intentional about treating me nice. In other words, I'm super intentional about not being mean to me. And that is the conversation for today. And I'm really excited about this conversation that we're going to have, because I think for too many of us, we discount words that we say to ourselves as if we would never, ever, ever say them to anyone else. But yet we act as if it's not an option for us. And I'm going to invite you to participate in this conversation and have an open mind about the things I'm going to share with you today, because it can't be optional anymore. It just needs to be a choice. So my question is, do you like you? Be honest. Are you nice to you? I have found that the more that I love me and accept me and take care of me, the less frustrated I am with my life, myself, and the people in it. The less discouraged I am, the less overwhelmed I am, the less I judge others for not doing what I wish they would, the less I need others to be different because I'm not wishing that I was. The more love I have, the more disciplined I am to do the things that I want to do, to obey myself. And so I thought I would share with you my journey to self-love, because it wasn't easy. And I want to give you some steps in that bridge. And so I'm going to share with you my self-love journey by way of these 3 bridges. Like I mentioned, I wish it was just as easy as saying, you know what? I used to not like me, and now I love me. And now looking back at it, I think that was possible, but I didn't have the tools in order to do that. That was just not my experience. I had lots of people in my life cheerleading me on and telling me super nice things about me. But here's the thing. I didn't believe them. I believed me. And I was mean. I mean, really mean. I had so much resentment and anger around my life, around the way that people should have been, around the way that people shouldn't have been. I had so much judgment around how and why my life should have been different. So my love journey started with a massive amount of forgiveness. Forgiveness. We all have origin stories of this, right? We thought kids should have been nicer to us. We thought dads should have been better. We thought moms should love us unconditionally. We thought teachers should show us the respect that they demanded of us. Not only did I feel major hurt and anger, but inside it made me devalue myself. I didn't feel worthy of life. I didn't feel lovable. I mean, if your own father can't love you, who can? For me, I just thought if I was more like everyone else, anything other than me, he might come back and he might want to be part of my life. And as you can about imagine, that came with an awful lot of pretending to be anyone other than myself. It also came with a lot of people pleasing, saying yes when I wanted to say no, thinking that if I was just nicer or smarter or athletic or prettier or more religious, that then it would be better, then I would be enough, then I would be worthy, then I would be lovable in his eyes. I had a brother that was diagnosed with spinal meningitis at 18 months, and he needed to matter. I never thought that we could all matter. I made these false assumptions that if my brother mattered 100%, then there was no mattering for me, as if mattering was a pie divided up between a household. And then sometimes we devalue ourselves from our own actions that we take that don't align with our values. We lie, we steal, we gossip, we bully, we cheat, we pretend, we hurt the ones we love by what we say, what we don't say. We devalue ourselves from other people's biases and behaviors, and then from our own bias and behaviors. But this is what I know for sure. We have to fight for our own life, and not fight as in defend, but we have to be responsible for it. We have to go on our own journey. So can you start with forgiveness? That's that first step in that bridge. If somebody did something to you, forgive them. Part of maturity is you need to recognize that they are human also, and that they made a terrible mistake, and they were tragically conditioned to hurt somebody else. And we need to remember that hurt people. And there's historical conditioning there that goes back. And we might not be aware of it, or there may be some mental trauma or disorder, and it doesn't make it right. It just means that today, as a mature adult, you're invited to forgive that connection between you and that other person so that you can be free. You don't even have to forgive the action. You don't even have to forgive their intention. Maybe they were bad, but that string that's holding your story in their story today, can you cut it with forgiveness? Your emotional freedom starts when you can forgive the situation. And bonus points if you can find for compassion and love for it. That was the work that I did with my dad. Your own emotional freedom is on the other side of this forgiveness. I forgave my dad. I realized that he was the one that needed forgiveness the most. I can't imagine now as a mom missing my kids' birthdays, their first days of school, Santa sightings, communions, graduations, homecoming, dances and proms and weddings, the birth of their children, becoming a grandma. I can't imagine not benefiting from all of that joy. And once I realized that forgiving him didn't discount his absence, it honored my presence. Let me say that again. Forgiving him doesn't discount his absence. It honored my presence. It allowed me to be free to be me. I think also that sometimes we think that if we just harbor the anger, the resentment, the bitterness, all the emotions, by the way that are present when forgiveness isn't, these emotions, we think that if we feel them, that it will teach that other person. We think that being mad or hurt or angry at dads that leave and don't come back will teach dads that leave and don't come back a lesson. But it doesn't. No one feels your feelings but you. And so sometimes we forgive the person, but we can't forgive ourselves. We should have done something else. We're still mad at ourselves for not reacting differently in another decade of our life, or maybe just last week. We think that if we forgive ourselves for the thing that we did, then we will do it again, that we're somehow giving ourselves a pass. And so we suffer in our own condemnation, bitterness, and anger at our own humanity, and wonder why shame isn't motivating. Holding myself in shame, withholding forgiveness and compassion of my wrongdoings. Friends, this does not make me show up as a more evolved and more expansive, more loving and more curious being. Rather, it has me closed off, frustrated, and a victim of my own life, thinking and believing that if people were better in my life, then I could have a better life. We call this shame. And when that doesn't feel good, we transition back quickly to shame. And this blame shame loop is the reason that we are not making progress on our goals. It's the reason that we're not farther along. It's the reason that we find ourselves in doubt, delay, and divided amongst people. And so when we stop thinking that other people should be different, blame, and that we should be different, shame, forgiveness for ourselves and others is readily available. So forgiveness is the first step. The second step to that bridge is just resetting expectations. What are your conditioned rules, these equations that you live your life by? I know for me, I equated smart to worthiness. People sometimes equate a certain weight on the scale to worthiness. People equate certain credentials to being enough. Thoughts like, if you were smarter or funnier or prettier or thinner or more athletic or more kind or more philanthropic or more religious or all of the above. I thought all of these rules applied to me. I thought perfect was a requirement. After all, if I achieved perfect status and my dad still didn't come back, then it might not be me after all. As if it was ever about me in the first place. All of this striving to be perfect is exhausting and riddled in a perpetual loop of not enough. Perfective is an impossible and even a naive destination. I believe that it is either a convenient excuse for not doing something, starting something, or it is a convenient excuse to continue to be mean to you. So what are your expectations of yourself and others? Can you take a minute and write them down? I was working with a client and we worked through his expectations as it related to people that drink. And it was fascinating because people could be silly and stupid and embarrassing, et cetera, as long as it was not tied to alcohol. There were certain rules that he had adopted and has applied to all sorts of different expectations. We all do. So what are your honest expectations around people? People that have money or people that don't? People that have credentials or people that don't? People that work outside of the home or people that don't? People that work 80 hours a week or people that work 20? People that drink and are silly and are embarrassing, or people that are silly and embarrassing without drink. We have been conditioned to believe that this is that there's this hierarchy of greatness. And here's the thing, there isn't. If there was, this hierarchy of greatness, then everyone would agree on what determines greatness, right? But there isn't. Some people have been raised and conditioned to believe that people are better if they're more religious, if they're more smart, if they're more athletic. Fill in the blanks. And if we can't all agree on it, they are not facts. They are just thoughts and expectations. They're not truths about the world. We think we see the world as it is, but we don't. We see the world through our lens of our own expectations. And when you know that, I mean, really know that, and when you know that expectations are not truths of the world, you just get to determine just how much pain that you create for yourself with them. Okay, so now that we have forgiveness, it's available for us if you choose, and we have checked our expectations of our own perfectionistic tendencies, and we stop using them as a way to continue to beat ourselves up with them, we can proceed on to step three, alignment. If we skip step 1 and step 2, it is next to impossible to get into alignment. Alignment is knowing who we are and what we want to become. It is also knowing that we are human and knowing that we are going to fall short and allowing that to be part of our learning and growth. In all of humanity, there is progress and there is struggle. And when you try to outrun that, when you try to reach for that perfection, that eluding perfection that doesn't exist, you suffer. So when we understand that, not from a place of perfectionistic expectations and conditioned rules and programming, rather personal accountability to who you want to be, who you want your future to be, not who you've been. Remember, you have forgiven that person. And not from the people who have been or haven't been for you. Remember, you have forgiven those persons as well. Alignment in the best of who you want to be right now. Knowing that choice is available to you to choose in abundance, choose in enoughness, not in scarcity. The solve for the mean girl or the mean boy is the esteem girl or the esteem boy. Esteem is the belief in oneself, imperfect and messy, and the belief in one's ability to figure it out and to have the necessary influence to move towards the things that they want. And when we don't have it, when we show up being mean, we doubt our own worth, our own capabilities, our own value. And that causes us to be scared because we might be embarrassed, seen, starting small, not knowing everything, not being perfect. And that causes us not to even visualize because we can't see ourselves as someone that can have what we want. And when you can't visualize the identity, it reaffirms our incapabilities and supports the language of our lies. Lies that we are not good enough. Lies that we are not worthy. Lies that we should be better. Lies, my friends, that are just mean. Lies that shut down the very drive that, if allowed, would support the truth that is available for us. The truth that says we are capable of anything that our conscious offers us. I don't believe that our consciousness offers to us what isn't within us to follow through on. But with no drive, there's no follow through. And then we feel defeated, broken, uninspired. And from this place, we just dig and should on ourselves more. Esteem, and whether or not we have it, is everything. Whether you want to accomplish and be disciplined in your personal goals or your professional goals, whether you want to better lead your teams and your lives and your mission and your well-being and your health, esteem is required. I think a lot of people think that I should just teach about strategy and productivity and profitability and leadership. And that's all very important stuff. But all of that is forever evolving, and all of that changes. I want another level for you. And that other level is this emotional freedom that will change your life. Forgiveness, releasing expectation, and aligning in esteem is going to be way more transformational for you, for your identity, for your becoming, than incorporating new systems or new strategies or new techniques. The key thing to note here is it's not the systems, it's not the plans, it's not the strategies that are going to determine that next level of growth and success for you. It is going to be you. And to the extent that you align in esteem will determine just how successful these new processes and systems and plans and strategies will be. If we cannot get you to the emotional freedom that's available today, you cannot access what is possible for you. If we can get you to emotional freedom, you can achieve something more unique, more powerful, more authentic, more genuine, more transformational than you thought possible. This is available when you make this shift from mean girl to esteem girl. This is the work that we do in all of our becoming programs. In the programs, you become a kinder version of you that has forgiven the past, that has forgiven you, yourself, that has forgiven others, that has released these ridiculous expectations of perfection that keep you trapped, that keep you playing small, that keep you playing sane. And it reunites you with this aligned sense of the best of who it is that they are, so that you can be free emotionally from the bitterness and resentment, free from the overwhelm and frustration that expectations create, and aligned with the capabilities and drive, free from the emotional sabotagers that will have you believing that you are not enough. You are enough. Stop being mean, please. You don't need the result in the outcomes to give you the belief. You need to forgive yourself, free yourself from the expectation, and align with the truth that you are enough, that you are worthy. No change is necessary. You don't get to do anything more or not do anything to be worthy. There is no amount of things that you can do or not do that can chip away at it. It is just a decision that you get to decide today that you are enough, that you are worthy. And it is a choice. And I know it's a choice because when I challenge my clients, when they're being mean to themselves and they're like, I know, Leah, I can work on it. I can work on it. And I ask them, what's the meanest thing that you say to yourself? And they will say something like, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm not smart, fill in the blank. And I will ask them to say that exact same thing to me. They won't. And I will say, why can't you say that to me? And they're like, because that would be mean. And I say, exactly. It's a choice. You just choose to be mean to yourself. And again, I'm telling you that that wasn't available to me because I didn't know all the psychology. I didn't know the behavioral change that I know now. It is a choice. And if you're not sure that that choice is available to you, take these steps. Start with forgiveness. Forgive you, forgive others. for not being this perfect illusion of who you thought they should be. Forgive the life that you thought should be different, that should look different. Release your expectations on perfection and allow for the 50-50 that is, that you are imperfect and you are messy and you are amazing. And align with that truth. It is as simple as a choice today. And if you can't get to that choice, take these steps, bridge the gap from the mean girl to the esteemed girl. And if you need help doing this, let me help you. It is so much freeing on this side of that. It is so much freeing to love me because then I don't need anyone else to. And when you don't need anyone else to, you become 10 times more lovable. And you can share and spread that love in a bigger and more profound way. And if you know anyone that's mean to them, who doesn't? Would you do me a favor? Would you just share this podcast with them by way of saying that we can all stop being mean? Wouldn't that be an amazing movement? The non-mean movement. Invite people, share this podcast with them because we can stop being mean to ourselves one choice at a time. And it starts with you, my friends. Have an amazing one, and we will talk soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to the Becoming You show with me, your host, Leah Rolling, where I share big ideas to inspire, impact, and influence your life. Tune in every Friday at 11 Central on transformationtalkradio.com for your morning cup of coffee, the hug you never want to end, and that inspirational message that you felt was written just for you. Each show is inspiring you to become you with purpose and intention. For more information or to connect with me, visit www.leahrolling.com.